Hey guys, it's Cory from CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, and I just saw Red Sparrow, written by Justin Haythe, based on the book by Jason Matthews, and directed by Francis Lawrence. So I took in Red Sparrow at Regal LA Live. This is number 9 for Regal LA Live, so we're 1 week away. Keep an eye out for the next time I go, because we're going to get the little featurette, but for now, you know about LA Live. So the basic gist of Red Sparrow: Jennifer Lawrence plays a prima ballerina for what I would assume is the Moscow Ballet, but they don't really specify. And during a performance, she has a compound fracture in her leg and can no longer be a ballerina. And because she can't dance anymore, there's threats that she's going to lose her apartment, that her mother's medical care will not be covered anymore, and it's a real tenuous situation until her uncle comes along and basically tells her to go to this thing called Sparrow School. I'm not 100% that Sparrow School is a real thing. I know that Russians have used manipulation in sexual ways before, but I don't know if there's like a specified like actual Sparrow School, like Sparrow School #1 or anything like that. But regardless, they bring Jennifer Lawrence in because she's broken inside and broken in the leg mostly, and start preparing her for her life as a spy by using her sexuality and her cunning to get what she wants from people the Russian government deem as undesirable in some way. I think if there's anything the one thing that really hit me walking out of the theater on this one is that it just seemed like nobody wanted to go the extra little bit to make it better, make the movie better. It's not a bad movie by any stretch. It's entertaining and it's fun, but it's a lot of it. I think back to a podcast I was just listening to recently where somebody was talking about when there's a lot of turmoil on set and when everyone's fighting and everything like that. He said, well, don't necessarily think that everyone fighting is a bad thing, because it means people are sticking up for what they really believe in and what they think will make the best movie. And sometimes the movies where everyone's at each other's throats all the time are the best movies, because everyone's standing up for what they think is right. And in this movie, it just feels like everybody, I mean, I don't know what the set was like, but it seems like everybody was just getting along to get along, because nothing really seemed to get pushed that much. There was a lot of like... So nobody was bad in this movie, but nobody was really great in this movie either. And it seems like, maybe Francis Lawrence could have stepped in a little bit and said like, hey, you got to work on that Russian accent a little bit, J-Law. Or Joel Edgerton, please don't, sort of emote a little bit more. Make yourself more clearly defined in this role. I mean, it just... This is what it looks like when you get talented enough people and a talented enough director in a movie where it seems like they just want to do it right, but they don't try and step it up at all. The problem is that it's so difficult to make a good movie, and in more recent years it's become easier because you have great cameras and great equipment and great editing, and you can fix things in post that you really couldn't do before with special effects and blah 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 blah. But just because the movie is good or watchable or average or any of these things that become the new low bar doesn't mean that we can't have more, have a bigger step up. Also, I saw a lot of people getting on Jennifer Lawrence about her accent. You can watch the trailer and see Jennifer Lawrence's attempt at a Russian accent, and it's not bad, but it's not great, and it's pretty much like the entire movie in itself. There was a definite effort put into it. It was good enough to get through, but it wasn't anything special, and I feel like a little bit more time here and there could have made this a really special movie or more special performance by Jennifer Lawrence. But I mean, it really felt very much like there's an expression with actors when it comes to picking roles: one for them, one for you. So, say you really want to do a lot of indie movies, but you have to pay the bills. So, you're going to do one Hunger Games, and then as soon as you do your Hunger Games movie where you made your money, you can go back and you can do Red Sparrow if that's what you really want. Or you can do Mother or any of the other less than projects that are kind of out there. But I mean, it also didn't feel like a one for them, one for you kind of situation, because if this was a movie for Jennifer Lawrence, then like if this was something that she really, really, really wanted to do, then I figured she would have cared more about it, or Francis Lawrence would have just put a little bit more effort into making this the best version of the movie that it could be, and I don't know if it was that. I mean, put it this way. So I just reviewed Game Night, and I couldn't stop raving about the writing and the cinematography and the performances, and it's because everybody sort of saw the opportunity to take a standard action or a standard order comedy and make it into a thriller and still make it funny and try something different, and everybody bought in. The direction was put out there, everybody bought in, and then they made the movie that they did, and it's not an award winner. It's not the greatest comedy that's ever been made, but it's different and it's new and it feels good and it's refreshing. Whereas Sparrow doesn't feel refreshing. It just feels like this was put on the slate, and we got Jennifer Lawrence, and Francis Lawrence has done things, and Joel Edgerton, and then let's just put it together and we'll just release it. Another thing I didn't get is that like sort of the levels of sexuality and having Jennifer Lawrence naked and other characters naked. Like, so it was wonderful that it wasn't just female nudity. There was male nudity as well, which is a refreshing change of pace and makes this thing feel a little bit more fair. But at the same time, like, it just sort of felt like this doesn't feel like the movie Jennifer Lawrence would have done if the fappening never happened. And that's kind of a weird thing to think of, but I mean, like, it really, she doesn't, the desire to have people naked in this is not like for some wonderful moment. I mean, they basically say, like, your body belongs to the state, so it shouldn't matter whether or not you're naked. But at the same time, like, you don't have to shoot somebody full on straight naked in front. And I wonder if the things that had happened to Jennifer Lawrence and the hacking of her phone hadn't happened, would she have done this movie? And I don't know if she would have, because why? It just does. It's not. Granted, it's not like in the story of the movie, it doesn't matter whether or not she has any control or any say of what goes on with her own body. But that doesn't mean that you necessarily need to show it. And I feel like there's ways that we could have gotten around that. I can't believe I'm complaining about naked women, but I mean, like, it just felt like kind of shoehorned in there. It felt more like when you saw naked women in Porky's than it did like some deeply satisfying psychological thriller. It seemed to miss the point of what they were trying to get at with that. Do you hear that? Do you hear the sounds of the leaderboard? What's going on, guys? Leaderboard time. This is the 9th time that I have seen a movie at Regal LA Live. Wait until next time for special featurette. Going on to the movie leaderboard. God, this flick is tough. It's like I said, it's not bad. If you have Movie Pass, or if you're watching this way in the future and like Red Sparrow's on Netflix and you're trying to figure out whether or not to watch it. It's fine. It's not. It's way too long, but it's fine. It's enjoyable. It's the type of thing you're not gonna hate yourself for having watched it. But then I don't imagine anyone's going to walk away from this saying like it's the greatest thing ever. So. I will give it a 5.9. Again, just I think that it's going to be interesting to look at this in the entire scope of Jennifer Lawrence's career, but nobody will put this amongst their favorite Jennifer Lawrence performances. And maybe I didn't watch the Hunger Game movies, which is where Francis Lawrence and Jennifer Lawrence have been together the most, but I can't imagine that I would necessarily recommend to either one of them that they work together again, because it's a movie without a very strong sense of chemistry and nobody who seems to step up to want that. Anyway, that's it from me. If you want to check out more about me and my work, you can go to CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, Facebook.com/CoryBakerFilm, or at LegendCB5 on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I've really been enjoying these reviews. The people who have been watching and sending me messages saying that they've been enjoying them too. I can't express my appreciation enough. So thank you. If you saw this movie, you disagree, maybe you thought it was really great and I missed it, let me know in the comments below. But until next week, subscribe, let me know what's up. I'm going to go to Sparrow School and use my body and my sexuality as a weapon.